the one and only thing that we know of that actually could possibly explain all the hallmarks of aging is telomere shortening, which is the tips of our chromosomes getting shorter and shorter every time our cells divide.
Behind the practice.
Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. And today I have the pleasure of speaking with Dr. Bill Andrews, who is the godfather of aging. He knows everything there is to know about aging and telomere length. So Dr. Bill Andrews, can you please tell us what a telomere is and what's the association with how we age?
Well, first, let me say I'm grateful for the build-up you just gave me. I was about to say I am honored to have you being interviewing me, so that's really great too. But now, repeat the question because I was stunned with your introduction.
So, as far as aging goes, what does telomeres have to do with how we age?
Well, telomeres could be everything about aging. It's like, and I don't understand why more people aren't focusing on this, but it's like there's like a whole bunch of like 12 different hallmarks of aging. It all involves things like wear and tear causing us to age, but the one and only thing that we know of that actually could possibly explain all the hallmarks of aging is telomere shortening, which is the tips of our chromosomes getting shorter and shorter every time our cells divide. And the shortening of the telomeres results in the aging process, puts a limit on our lifespan and in our health span. I always say, no matter what else we do to try to cure aging is never going to be cured unless we solve this telomere shortening problem. And guess what? It might solve all the other problems too, because it's the only one. I was going to say the only theory that's not a theory, because it says it's not a theory. I can't really say that. It's the only one where we know everything about how telomere shortening causes us to age. I think you know that. Why telomere shorten, what causes it. It's like we know everything. Okay, and so why we're doing all these other things, why the world's doing all these other things without prioritizing telomere shortening, boggles my mind. But I think it's because there's so much research needed yet before we actually have something potent enough to actually stop telomere shortening. And I know I haven't explained what telomeres are yet, but it's like we have developed some ways, we've made some discoveries of ways to actually slow down the rate of telomere shortening, which should extend our lifespan and health span, give us all a better chance of being around when we actually come up something that reverses aging.
And we can reverse some age-related diseases.
Well, that's the most important thing.
Right.
And aging, nobody wants us to be living in hospitals beds with tubes sticking in and out of us. The number one goal of every person I know of doing research trying to cure aging is more focused on curing our health span, extending our health span, not just our lifespan.
Right. And so I have come across a few studies where they studied people who had the shortest telomeres because of stress. And it was mothers and caretakers specifically who were taking care of a child with a disability. And so can you tell us just a little bit, maybe expand on that, or how stress ages us so much so?
I talk about that a lot. And there's Dr. Elisa Eppel, who is a really great doctor, and the role that stress plays in aging, and she's written a few books and stuff like that. I'm very impressed with her knowledge. But what she did a study where she looked at caregivers of Alzheimer's patients, and she found that their aging process is going at an accelerated rate because of the stress that's involved in taking care of an Alzheimer's patient. And so I always say caregivers have to take care of themselves too. They need to take breaks. We need to find some other way of taking care of them. Unfortunately, we've got the silver tsunami coming up, which in another few years from now, there's not going to be enough young people to take care of the longer-lived people anymore. So that's only going to make telomere shortening faster and aging faster for people that are caregivers. It's a big problem that we have to deal with. I think the solution is find a cure for aging before that happens, and also start getting these robotic companies to start making robots to do caregiving themselves, so that people who need care can still live with their families and not be a burden to their families.
there are some things that we can do now for the caretakers, for the moms, for the stressed moms, and for those who actually have age-related diseases to turn the clock back, or essentially give us longer telomeres, put back what we lost. And so my experience with taking actually your product, first of its kind, really ever that actually works. You've tested all other products who actually claim to lengthen telomeres, and they really don't. Yours does, which I have personal experience with. I am somebody, I could get emotional. I've gone through a lot in my life. I've been in constant fight or flight for a very long time. I had a child with developmental delays and just trying to run around to heal her. And then not only that, helping mothers all around the world, like hundreds of thousands of them, heal their children, and the burden that it had on me, just like trying to help them heal their children. And so I felt like I aged 10 years ahead of my time. I sure looked like it. We do have a before and after of me. I call your supplement the Super Mom pill because it changed my life. So not only do I look 10 years younger, I feel 10 years younger, but even on more of an emotional level, I feel like I got a second chance at life. And so for anybody out there listening to this, you're a caretaker, or you're somebody who maybe feel like you just got gypped or, got dealt a tough card, I would say to try Televital. And I also wanted to ask you, how does it feel to have a product like this on the market after 35 years or more, 40 or plus more of development? How does it feel to have something like this changing people's lives now?
Well, let me first just say it's not my product, okay? I discovered the ingredients in it, and I hated the idea that these were just sitting on the shelf being untouched, but I couldn't find a company to market the products that I could trust, because there's so many companies out there, it's just not legitimate. But I discovered Touchstone Essentials that is owned by a guy named Eddie Stone. I think Touchstone came from his last name.
It did.
I'm not sure. Okay.
Yes.
And I was blown away by this guy's focus on making people happier and healthier, and not on profits and not on publicity and fame and things like that. He really was like-minded with me. So I licensed the ingredients to him, and his team put together this product called Televital, which contains the 5 most potent, what I call telomerase inducers that we've ever discovered. And he combined it with some other things too that actually help decrease the rate of aging in other ways too. So it's actually a better product. It's a product that I take every day, okay? Because I'm interested in curing my aging too. But it's the best product there is. Now, it should not really reverse aging in young, shorter-lived people, but we are definitely seeing that some of the longer-lived people, especially in their 80s and 90s, are showing some amazing age reversal effects. Because I do webinars like once a week to talk to people about the science behind the product. And I'm surprised seeing some of these people, the effects that I've seen. But at first I didn't have an explanation, but then all of a sudden it dawned on me. There's plenty of studies, including study in my own lab, where we have shown that when telomeres get critically short, they become easier to lengthen.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and I kind of think of it like telomeres are like a ball of yarn. The tip of the telomere is in the middle of that ball of yarn, and when the ball of yarn is big, telomeres can't get to it to lengthen the telomeres. But when you get longer lived and you get shorter telomeres, that ball of yarn is smaller, so telomeres can get into that ball of yarn, bind to the tip, and lengthen the telomeres. And that's how I think. It's the only explanation I have for the. No way can I deny these changes that I'm seeing in some of these people. And it's the only way that I can explain it, in that the fact that the longer-lived people with the critically short telomeres are having actual telomere lengthening. They're winning the tug-of-war between shortening and lengthening when telomeres are critically short.
Yeah.
And so how do I feel? I feel, oh my God, it's so nice to have a product on the market that's actually doing something for people, and not just some marketing ploy to try to pretend that it's doing something for people. So, I mean, I'm I'm doing everything I can to spread the word, even though I'm not marketing, but I do it by explaining the science. And I actually spend a lot of time, like I did today. I talked about why are there other products on the market that claim to lengthen telomeres? And I showed that they are actually not lengthening telomeres. They're just causing a redistribution of cells in the body to put other cells or take cells away from the blood or put other cells in the blood that's making telomeres look longer. And the things that do that are anything that's toxic or immunogenic. I compare it to if you have a company and you fire your dumbest employees or you hire geniuses, the average IQ of your company increases without anybody getting any smarter. The same is true for your telomeres, okay? The telomeres are getting longer, but no lengthening. They're getting lengthening just like removing the cells with short telomeres by toxins or adding new cells with long telomeres by immunogenic products and like that cause inflammation and stuff like that. And even though the telomeres in your blood might be longer, it was the expense of shortening telomeres elsewhere in your body. So your telomeres are still short.
Yeah, so it's basically faking results.
Yes.
Well, thank you so much.
Except for Telovital.
Except for Televital. And if you want to see even more miracles that are happening, you can go and find me on Wisdom and Motherhood on Instagram and a lot of more of Bill Andrews. So thank you so much, everybody.
Thank you.
Thanks, Bill.
Behind the Practice is produced by Next Step Social and Podcasting and hosted by Katie Brinkley and Sean Quintero. A special thank you to our guests today. This episode was recorded live at the Boston BioLife Functional Longevity Summit. A special thank you to the team that helped make this podcast happen.